This was a critical moment. Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush going head-to-head on immigration.
When you led the charge with the Gang of Eight, I supported it because you asked me to. I think it's important for people in elected office to try to forge consensus to solve problems. There's never going to be a perfect bill.
All right.
But when you didn't do that and you asked people to support, you shouldn't cut and run.
But Megan,
you should stick with it. And that's exactly what happened. He cut and run, and that's a tragedy because
Megan,
now it's harder and harder to actually solve this problem.
There's not going to be any consensus on this issue until we enforce our immigration laws.
Hey,
that is abundantly clear. No, you are not going to be able to ram down the throat of the American people your approach.
David Kochel, chief strategist for Jeb Bush's 2016 presidential campaign, former executive director of the Republican Party here in Iowa. Nice to see you. You're back in your home state, although you have a national perspective. I think in a state perspective as well here in Iowa. Good morning.
Good morning.
How did Jeb Bush do last night?
It was certainly his best debate. I thought he was the strongest guy on the stage last night. He looked very presidential, and I thought he put forward serious plans about what he wants to do for the country, and I think we had a great night.
Why do you think it was different for him?
Well, obviously there's a difference in Trump not being there, but that only afforded other candidates a little bit more time and for the issues to be more serious. But I think we kind of missed on it a little bit because I think, as you've seen over the course of the last several debates, Governor Bush has been the only one really to take on Trump in these debates. So we kind of missed having him.
On that point, here is what happened during the start of last night's debate.
I kind of miss Donald Trump. He was a little teddy bear to me. We always had such a loving relationship during these debates and in between and the tweets. I kind of miss him. I wish he was here. Everybody else was in the witness protection program when I went after him.
How'd that come about?
Well, I mean, look, Donald decided he didn't want to face tough questions from Megyn Kelly. He didn't show up. Obviously, Governor Bush has been the one to contrast, from the very beginning, his views with Donald Trump's views. I mean, we're the one who called him out for supporting the Clinton Foundation. We're the ones who've called him out for changing all of his positions and trying basically to hijack the Republican Party and the Conservative Party message. So we've been consistent about that throughout.
Put last night to the side now. 3.5 days before the caucus. You know all too well you got to show up to be counted here.
Yep.
Where is Jeb Bush's campaign specifically in the state of Iowa now?
Well, we're looking to be the strongest in the governor's lane here. Obviously, Iowa is a state that generally sorts out Christian conservatives and Tea Party candidates. First of all, we're running a national campaign. We're running in all 4 February states and March 1st and beyond. So we expect to do well here. We're driving hard to the end. What we have to do here is really finish first in that governor's lane and head into New Hampshire with a head of
That's a new one on me. I've heard a lot of phrases, but not the governor's lane before. That would mean you finish ahead of Kasich, you finish ahead of Chris Christie,
right.
And you would finish behind a Rubio, a Cruz, and a Donald Trump.
Well,
would a 4th place be considered victory at this point?
I think this is a different cycle because you have so many candidates still in this field. I think it's going to take a little bit longer to sort out these lanes. And so obviously we've invested more time in New Hampshire, looking forward to getting there on Monday night. And I think we're going to do very well in New Hampshire, where we've been on the rise now for a couple of weeks, and in South Carolina as well.
Before you get to New Hampshire, though, you know the state very well because you're from here, and now you live here yet again. But you ran Mitt Romney's campaign in 2008. You ran Mitt Romney's campaign here in 2012. Is Iowa fundamentally different in the last cycle or even the cycle before that?
I think it's changed a little bit. I think the presidency of Barack Obama has really polarized not only the country but our party as well. And so there are a lot of angry people who are frustrated with the direction of the country, frustrated with their inability to control our borders, frustrated with what they see as a receding in the world at a time when the world's more dangerous. That's why Governor Bush has a plan to take on ISIS. That's why he has a plan to secure the border. He wrote a book about immigration 4 years ago. His position has been consistent throughout. I think we're going to do well here, but I do think there's something that's going on here in Iowa where you've got a lot of angst and a lot of anger among a lot of voters. So people who appeal to that are going to do
We kind of feel it too, David. So thank you for taking time. We'll see what happens on Monday night. And my best to you. You've had a really tough year this past year, but you look terrific, and good luck on your health.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that.
David Kochel, you bet. Thank you, with the Bush team.